when you work in the regular world. Disobeying the boss will probably get you fired. But when you're in the life, going against the boss is fatal. This is the story of the crew that decided to cross the boss. In the early morning hours of January 6, 1978, a Chicago outfit burglary crew robbed the suburban mansion of longtime crime boss Tony "Big Tuna" Accardo. At the time, Accardo was vacationing in Palm Springs. Just before he left, he had admonished a burglary crew led by associate John Mendel for robbing a jewelry store of a friend, and as such was under protection. He demanded that all the proceeds be given to him so that he could return them to the store owner. That friend was Harry Levinson. Levinson owned a jewelry store on North Clark Street. When he went to work one morning, he found his store had been ransacked. He had been robbed of over $1 million in jewelry. He called the police immediately, but when the cops arrived, they told Levinson that the thieves had done a pro job, leaving no evidence. They said they would do their best in finding the thieves. This didn't sound very promising to Levinson. He knew he wouldn't get his jewelry back even if the burglars were caught. So he decided to call his friend, Tony "Joe Batters" Accardo. Mendel was not happy with this turn of events and decided to show his extreme displeasure by brazenly robbing the outfit boss's lavish suburban home while he was away. It proved to be an ill-conceived endeavor, and it didn't take very long for Accardo to mete out a punishment for all those involved in the burglary. An expert at deactivating complex alarm systems, Mendel was known as the most skilled bypass man in the whole outfit. Mendel was the first to go, disappearing on January 15th. He was found weeks later in the trunk of his car, stabbed and strangled to death. 5 days after Mendel went missing, his second in charge, Bernard "Buddy" Ryan, was discovered dead behind the wheel of his car with 4 bullet holes in the back of his head. Ryan's right-hand man, Stevie Garcia, made it until February 2nd when he turned up as trunk music at the Sheraton Hotel next to O'Hare International Airport. As the days progressed, the hit parade continued. On February 4th, Vince Moretti, the burglary crew's regular fence for all of its stolen property, along with a small-time crook friend of his named Don Reno, were lured to a Cicero, Illinois bar and were beaten and stomped to death. Reno had nothing to do with the Accardo robbery. He simply happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The double homicide came to be referred to as the Strangers in the Night murders because, according to an informant, the Johnny Mathis song was playing on the jukebox as Moretti and Reno were slaughtered by an outfit hit team. Moretti, a former police officer, had been seen wearing Accardo's gold cufflinks around town in the days before he was killed. There was a brief lull in the hunt until the final 2 members of the burglary crew were finally dealt with. Bobby Hertogs and Johnny McDonald were the last 2 to go. Hertogs was found in the trunk of his car on April 6th. He had been badly beaten and had his throat slit. McDonald was shot in the back of the head, his body dumped in an alley on April 14th. In order to cover his tracks and cut ties from the purge he set in motion, Accardo turned his wrath towards his own inner circle and the execution squad he had dispatched to do his bidding. In October, Accardo's housekeeper, native Sicilian Mike Volpe, vanished weeks after testifying in front of a grand jury investigating the slayings linked to the January break-in. Accardo was famously protective of his beloved River Forest mansion. He even bumped off the architect who designed it out of suspicion that he had shared the blueprints with the FBI. Months later, Anthony "Little Tony" Borsellino and Jerry "Dinger" Carusciello were found shot in the back of the head. Borsellino and Carusciello were members of the hit team that went after the burglary crew that robbed the boss. Borsellino was a member of the notorious West Side Wild Bunch, a group of menacing enforcers tasked with the outfit's most difficult jobs. Carusciello was a driver and bodyguard for Accardo's street boss, Joseph "Joey Doves" Ayupa. Nobody was ever arrested for the murders. Volpe's eyeglasses were recovered from a safe inside the Accardo residence during a raid years later, but his body has never been unearthed. The boss, Tony "Big Tuna" Accardo, died peacefully in 1992. After serving nearly a half-century as the boss of the Chicago outfit and never doing any significant time behind bars. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again on the Chicago Outfit Files. Until next time. Bye for now.